welcome back to Civilization. And yes, I'm still working on China here. And let me just work on something here. Let's just make this a little more respectable. Yeah. So while I'm going to be working on a few things on here, I thought about something that needs to be spoken about. Because if this is called Izzy versus, and this is Izzy versus Civilization, which is me. Let's talk about the one thing we haven't talked about in quite a good while, and that's namely myself. So 40 bills now 40. Anyway, it's so hard to actually talk about yourself when you really do need to talk about yourself. Growing up hasn't been easy for me, as most of you well know about my back history, but for those who don't know, I didn't grow up having cerebral palsy. It happened to me upon an accident. And it happened when I was a baby. A baby toddler, I think it was coming into growing up. I've had physical issues since. And let me tell you, it has not been easy. Not to mention the fact that, growing up in a very tough environment, namely Los Angeles. And I went through so much shit. And I went through so much shit growing up. Because I'm smart. And you know how hard that is to actually say that being smart kind of hurts. It really does. Most people don't realize that it has been rough. And it really has been, it really has been a thing though. It really has been a thing. I mean, I grew up with having, cerebral palsy, a bit of a lisp, and I've spoken about that previously. But me in general, that's pretty much the hardest thing I can ever actually talk about. Because let me see, there's so many things that most people already know about me that people haven't, already do know about me. But the thing I had to really just mention is that my intelligence. My intelligence is a thing sometimes. I often fear myself being too smart for my own good. And because of how I am, oddly enough, it does cause problems. Now, probably what I'm going here is, don't talk down about yourself, don't do this, but this is me we're talking about. And let me tell you, it has not been easy, it really hasn't. I mean, to tell you the truth, nothing is actually ever easy, especially with how things been in my life. And growing up has been somewhat the most difficult, because I've only had a dad for 13 years. Passed away when I was going through middle school or junior high. Let me see. I had to go through a lot, and I do mean a lot. I had to go through a lot of crazy shit, you know. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm pausing a bit, but I went through a lot of shit. Okay. I mean, you think it's easy being me? Let me tell you something. It ain't. It ain't. So let's see. You have Izzy now, and then you have before that Israel. Me as myself, it has not been easy. Because I went through a whole lot of bullying. Growing up, because I have cerebral palsy, I went through a lot of bullying. Because many people called me a retard. Even though I was bringing in straight A's. Straight A's, mind you. The straight A's have been just, just something. I basically had to go through a lot of shit. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that I have, that I had to go through a lot of stupid shit. And part of me is like angry. That's the part of me that I keep kind of paused because mainly I am in all rights angry. Angry about a lot of things. And then there are times in which I do mention this. I wish I did more in my life. I really wish I did preferably a lot more than what I'm doing right now. I wish I was more I really wish I was doing like a lot more with what I've been doing. I mean, like I said, it has not been easy. But then again, if I did a lot more than what I've been doing now, I don't know. Because sometimes I really wish I'd done more in my life. I think I feel I've done enough for what it's worth. Just because I feel I should do enough. I've always had self-esteem issues because it wasn't just having cerebral palsy. It was about myself as a person. Like, I'm a tall guy, but I don't get into fights. I'm only speaking with my heart. I'm very blunt. And for what I've been going through, I feel I deserve the very best in life. I mean, honestly, that's how I honestly feel. That I do enough for whatever short life I've lived so long. I've said I've done enough. I've grown up, went through 3 levels of schooling. Once my family got older, I had to be more responsible. I had to because, well, things were happening. And when things happen, you know what must be done. So for me, just because of my upbringing, I could have been a run-of-the-mill, I could have easily been a run-of-the-mill gangster, I could have been one of those kind of boys or young men with no future. No lifestyle. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I would have been a punk ass nigga. Okay? I would have been one of them punk ass niggas who don't do shit with their life, who want to just go out, draw graffiti on somebody else's property, run away like the little bitch that he is, and on top of that, make myself into a target of being a statistic. I could easily be in jail or pretty much worse, dead. I was almost dead in one lifetime, and that was when I was in Japan, and I was fucking married, okay? I doubt anybody in their right mind could possibly come out and say, oh hey, you've been through A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, guess what? So have I, motherfucker. So have I. Have you ever been married to a fat ass bitch who don't even give the slightest shit about you? Oh no, you haven't? You never went through the shit that I have went through? To do what I'm doing now is a testament to what I am right now. I mean, truly, I went through a lot of shit. I ain't gonna lie, I went through a lot of shit. And it shows, I could say what I've been through it has been anything but kind. It's been somewhat an adventure. I mean, I could say that. It has been somewhat of an adventure. I went through enough hardships in my life. And to say that, I have self-esteem issues. Yeah, my self-esteem issues have always been about me, just being me. That's been my only self-esteem issue that has always been an issue, which is me. And we made map making. Good. Astronomy, yes. And sometimes, yeah, I have issues in which I'm uncertain of myself. Being that I'm good enough for anybody. And as a guy, it's not easy. It really is not easy. Nor has it ever been easy. And for those who are wondering, yeah, I am that concerned about what I'm doing. Because like I said, it's hard being me. It's very hard being me sometimes. I mean, yeah, I got self-esteem issues, but you know what? I'm no different than anybody else that has self-esteem issues. I did more in my life. But it's been rough being me, though. Namely because you can only try doing so much and then, I don't know. I don't know, like I said, it's kind of hard to actually talk about myself because there isn't much to really talk about sometimes. It's quite difficult to talk about yourself, especially when a lot is going on in your life. And what I worry about sometimes is when I grow, when I actually get out of this house eventually, I make my own, start in life and whatnot. That sort of thing. I worry about that. It may be small, but just the things I think about after certain hours, it's a lot. And it's not easy to actually do videos like these, what you're just talking about yourself. I mean, I can say I had a pretty good life growing up. As I was saying before, one moment. I was in a train of thought now, and I can't remember my train of thought. One moment. When you're talking about yourself, when you're trying to explain your whole life, things just don't turn out the way you want them to turn out. Especially when you're trying to do an all-nighter of recordings. You're trying to do an all-nighter recordings. The hardest thing to do about commentary is about talking about yourself. I mean, usually it's the case of me trying to talk about myself. Because as I mentioned before, I do not talk very much. I wasn't really a very vocal person growing up. That was the thing. I was never a very vocal person. I think once I started doing Let's Plays, it just, it just all came out. Oh, hey, oh, this is me. Oh, this is what I sound like. Most people don't know, yeah, being a Let's Player does change you. It changes how you act. For me, it was for the better because, I usually have my things well thought out, but never put to voice. And growing up, well, school-minded until... I was school-minded until high school. And, being the way I am, the fact that I was entitled to be, say, retarded, I mean, to me, that's the hardest thing that ever happened. Just, the fact that, people call you retarded. That is harsh. That is like the worst thing you can ever do. Just, that is probably the worst thing that any human being could ever do. Call somebody else retarded. And being retarded means you're brain dead. I never once was ever brain dead. I can tell you, it is one of those times that you know you aren't brain dead. Just people have a thing about being assholes. I missed out on a lot when I was a teenager because I was pretty much because I was pretty much a nerd. I mean, no, seriously, that's what it's been about, I was never well liked because I was smart. Or the fact that I spoke out, that's another thing. I mean, I can deal with most people very easily. Wonderful. An aqueduct and a coliseum. Wonderful. Engineering. Bridging. Ironwork. Let's do that. I can tell you right now, just being smart, I don't know. To some people, they're just, to some people, it doesn't make sense. Like, well, this is the only reason why, because, oh, hey. Because, oh, hey, it doesn't make sense, but yeah, sometimes I feel my intelligence intimidates other people. And sometimes it is a thing. It is a thing sometimes, and I'm sorry, but I am who I am. I fought my damnedest to be who I am. Let me tell you, most of it hasn't been easy at all. I mean, that's just me, though. All I know is I can only be somebody, and that somebody might as well be me, And for those who can't deal, I'm sorry, but I can't change for anybody. I can't change the way who I am for nobody. It's like it's full acceptance. Everything has to come full circle. For me, it comes full circle. You can either take it or leave it, because that's how it is. Let me tell you, this has been one of the toughest episodes I've ever had to do because I'm talking about myself. Maybe because deep down, part of me knows I'm weak. And yet that part of me knows that I'm strong. And why does that part of me just don't let it be known that I'm strong? Well, shouldn't it be that damn obvious? And I'll be quite honest. I tried. That's all I can do. I mean, I can only try to be the best I can become. And that's in life, not just here. Me playing one game or going through a challenge, but it's just me, you know? No. I mean, it's the only thing I can possibly do, you know. So I think, with that done and said, this has been like the most hardest, gut-wrenching episode of Civilization I've ever done because it's talking about myself. How weak I am, how strong I am, what I went through to get where I am today. Mainly through a lot of death and a lot of hardship. But that's just a way of life, that's all it is. So I think, yeah, this is going to be quite a bit of a short episode, but I'm going to call it here. And next time, I might be in a better mood to talk about something different. Let's see. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.